Profanity Nation.
Yeah, it's the new era of man for some old school fans with a new school brand. We got money on the mic with the plan in hand. And Stat Pat to his left, they go hand in hand. And to the right, we got Simpster, he putting it down. It's the Profanity Nation, we running the town. Yeah,
It's the Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation.
Hey, welcome to the Profanity Nation podcast, where we are the voice of the professional fan.
Yes, sir.
Another week, another day, another Laker loss, but we'll get to that in a second, guys.
Right.
As usual, joined by my co-hosts, Money Mike and Stat Pat. Money Mike, how are you?
You know, I'm great. Had a pretty good week, but the Lakers, I'm not feeling them right now.
No, but it's just preseason, right?
I mean, you know, they think it is.
Wasn't it? Weren't we just talking a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I would
Stat
say like,
Pat, how are you feeling?
kind of like I'm not as good as Mike.
I mean, you know, you asked how I was doing, but
Yeah, I'm actually kind of like irritated right now,
Yeah.
dude. Every time I'm on my timeline, there's somebody cracking jokes of Lakers. I mean, I know the Lakers are not at full strength, but that's really no excuse when you have like, you know, AD, you know, LeBron and
When they
Russ.
supposedly have all this talent that they
Well,
signed.
at the same time, they're always hurt. And it's already starting now. It's starting right now. It's like 10 games in.
The 401k.
Yeah,
Lakers
like, you know,
or the
yeah, right.
401.
You know how they had that picture in the beginning, they had the 360 picture with them? Like, it should have been 401k. It should have been 401k. Retirement pictures.
Oh, man. Clipper Darrell's just having a field day. He's
Christ.
thanking everybody from Dave Lillard to Gilchrist. It's yeah, but we all know who's going to laugh in the end, right, guys?
we're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about that. All right.
We're going to talk about that.
All right.
I think,
Well,
you know, there was historically there was a really, really good team. It was Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, Dwight Howard.
we've been here before.
Yeah, we've seen this picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we gotta see really what this is.
I'm kind of feeling that same thing, Money Mike. So let's just keep moving here. Let's keep the show going. If you watch the show, you know we always start with a segment with our buddy here, Marco Nunez, former head athletic trainer for the Los Angeles Lakers, our buddy and our friend. Marco, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. All I'm going to say, it's not necessarily how you start, but maybe how you finish. So
It is.
Okay, well, you know, but you have to make the playoffs, though.
In the West.
That's all I'm saying. Hey, Marco, real quick, man.
What's up?
Look. I was undefeated. Then Derrick Henry got hurt. And this dude, you know, this dude's foot, you know what I mean? The fifth bone in his foot? He had surgery.
Fifth metatarsal.
I don't know what any of that means, but would he be back in a couple of weeks before, you know, the not the NFL playoffs, just the fantasy football playoffs?
No, bro.
Those are more important.
What that means is you need a new running back. That's what that means.
Oh, no.
man.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you know, Derrick Henry was number one running back. I think he was probably the number one fantasy player out there right now. If you had Derrick Henry, you were riding him to the fantasy playoffs. Trust me, everybody that had Derrick Henry was. I mean, you could have just had Derrick Henry and everybody else. You know, other players, you would have been solid. You would have been gold. So him going down kind of hurt a lot of people.
So you're not alone, Money Mike. Does that help at all?
So yeah, I got no, it doesn't. But he's letting me know. Don't even worry about Derrick Henry and finding a.
You need to move on.
You need to put in a waiver claim.
Apparently, I have to find another defense.
You need to put in a waiver
offense, right?
Put in a waiver claim, man.
All right,
Do that
cool.
tonight.
All right, hey, you know, on my way here, man. You know, Marco, I was thinking, I was in my 2012 Buick LaCrosse, right? And I'm riding here, and you know this LaCrosse has done me really, really well, man. You know, I've driven to Baker many times, 120 miles a day. You know, I used to go over to Fontana for 7 years, right? You know, and I looked down on there, and they had 200,000 miles on my car, right? And you know, it's done me really, really well. You know what I mean? I haven't had any major, you know, injuries or anything like that, you know, or service stuff.
We know where this is going.
Look, all of a sudden,
we already know.
You know, we have this player on the Lakers, and he keeps getting like he's you know spending millions of dollars of maintenance on his body. You know, all the oil changes, all the new tires and everything, and all of a sudden we keep on getting like abdominal strains and
who are we talking about now?
I mean, It is.
Wait. I know what you're talking about now.
LBJ at this
I
point.
know I'm going to have to
What?
get me another car at some point because my car is going to,
You mean
All right.
You talking about you can need
Hey,
two
All right,
cars?
you want me to sum this up?
Here's my question.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I think LeBron has 200,000 miles on him, man. How much further can we go with this guy?
Well, here's the thing. He does do maintenance on his body, from my understanding. And, when I was there, he did a lot of recovery. So that's one positive thing. If we're looking at the silver lining or the glass being half full, is he does take care of himself type of thing. Otherwise, maybe there'd be more other injuries type of thing. As far as the mileage, it's wear and tear. He is older. He's been to the playoffs and the finals so many years. That piles up. People forget about all those years, those minutes, so that they rack up. The interesting part about it is the guest you guys are having today is actually probably perfect timing, and should probably be a perfect person to ask this question, because one of the things about when you're working with an athlete, you have to look at the whole individual, like the entire player. What goes into the player? It's not just the taping the ankles, not just strengthening in the weight room, it's not just doing the rehab, but what you eat, what you're eating, when you're eating, types of foods, how's your body digesting it, how's your body absorbing some of the proteins, how's your body absorbing some of the carbohydrates. So Maggie, that you guys are going to have on today, she's a very good friend of mine. She's very knowledgeable in that, so that'll be one of the first questions. So as you get older, obviously your metabolic rate kind of slows down or changes, and you have to be ready to do, understand that. So what you ate when you were 18, 19, you can't do the same thing when you're, 30, 37, 36, 38. So you have to change your whole dynamics. You have to change your routine. You change what you do. And hopefully his staff that he works with understands that and hopefully changes his routine as well.
Is it obvious what we're seeing? Is this father time? Because, again, we did see this with the Karl Malone, never was injured, comes to the Lakers towards the end of the last year of his career, bam, he's injured. LeBron obviously has been a just absolute prototype athlete. But
yeah, as they say, there's three things that are undefeated in life, and father time is one of them.
And so it is. It's you have to assume it's piling up. Okay, I have a question for you.
Yep.
How often has a guy sat out of a game or been held out of a game for a stomach ache?
It is common. It does happen. As far as the bubbles, as they call it, or the gastrointestinal issues type of thing, it does wear on that part. We've had that in the past before. So when they have basically the stomach flu and they just not feel right, and the issue with that is that when they do have the symptoms, and I don't want to get too detailed here, but it's coming off from. One of the issues we got to worry about is dehydration and cramping on the cord, because we got to pump them with electrolytes and fluids and stuff like that. And if they're out there to start cramping, then they could create an injury. So it can lead to something else higher than that. So it's just one thing as far as precautionary measures that you do that. So it is common. It does happen. And there's been times where players have not been able to play because of issues without getting too detailed.
It just happens.
Yeah.
We all have them. We all have them, that's for sure.
I mean, at this point though, if it's not the bubble guts, it's something else. Like, it's something else. I mean, it's like, what I'm saying? Like, it's a sprain, man. And every time, sprained thumb. And then every time he falls down, I'm holding my breath, because I'm swear to God, I need him to be wrapped in like bubble wrap, because obviously it's a matter of time, man. We all know it's a matter of time. He's going to be out for weeks. And it's just to the point, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm looking at this team and it looks like it's like made with like out of porcelain, and it's like put together with tape. It's like it's ready to go at any moment. And it's now looking at the wear and tears of, like you said, father time, but then it's also injury prone. So now you got the dangerous cocktail mixture right there. I mean, you got father time and also people that get hurt all the time. So how do you look at this team now and feel secure with anything that we projected? I mean, that's where I think we're at right now.
So one of the issues that you're talking about as far as injury prone, it also referred to as compensatory patterns. When you compensate, he's had that high ankle sprain from last year. He came back and he had a little bit of a soreness in the last couple of weeks that he's been kind of dealing with. So that does change your moving pattern. That changes your mechanics. It changes how you run up and down the court and what you do. And that usually kind of may lead to something else. So now he has the ankle. Now he has the abdominal strain. Now we don't know what kind of degree of abdominal strain, whether it's first, second, or third degree. If it's a first degree, very mild, hopefully he's only out for maybe a week, no more than 2 weeks. But if it's a second or third degree, he may be out anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks type of thing. Now, the issue also is that The abdominal muscles, or basically the six-pack muscles, that's one of your main core muscles in your body that kind of holds you upright. It's attached to your pelvis. So we want to make sure that when he comes back, he's healthy, he's not compensating, because then that could lead to his pelvis being, off, so to speak, which then can lead to something else, maybe groin strain, a hamstring strain, or something of that sort. And then it becomes a domino effect. So it's a matter of trying to kind of figure it out, stopping from the dominoes falling, and then proceed from there.
I have a question. We'll finish up with this. I have one last question for you, Marco. And I'm sure I'm reading way too much into this and looking way too deep. However, at what point, or is there any blame on the coach when players are getting injured? And what I mean by that is obviously you have a coach who may overplay players. I don't mean that. What I mean is, it seems to me from the fans' point of view that a player and the entire squad is healthier if they have an organized offense that they know they're playing. Where if they're playing literally just one-on-one, who can get here, it just seems like they're trying to do too much, and injuries happen. Is that possible? I mean, can we look at a Popovich's record who says everyone sticks within the program? Are his players healthier than other players where maybe that offense isn't, it's a more herky-jerky scheme?
It varies from player to player. It varies from team. It varies from coach. It also varies the type of players you have, the system that you're running, type of thing. So it's tough to say that is the cause of it, or yes, no, so to speak, type of thing. But yeah, I mean, when you have enough time for a certain players to play together as a team and create that chemistry, you understand it, versus kind of just filling in the gaps as you go along, and then one player step up, then he gets hurt, and then now you got to bring somebody else in. That one that was hurt now comes in, so there's no unity or cohesiveness, so to speak. So it makes it difficult to kind of create that chemistry as you're going along right now. So right now, I think what the Lakers are doing is they're just kind of trying to hold on till everybody slowly comes back, and hopefully nobody falls apart before anybody else comes back, and hopefully finally get the team together.
Exactly.
Right.
So
we'll talk more about that later on.
All right.
Hey, appreciate you, Marco.
Marco, thank you
Marco.
so much. Please let everybody know the best way to keep in touch and keep a hold of what you got going on.
Yeah, if everybody has any questions regarding injuries or is interested, or if you had Derrick Henry in your lineup and you're looking for somebody else, feel free to DM me on my Instagram. And
who do you suggest, man? Tell me right now.
What's up?
You've already been in,
because I can't find nobody, man. I can't find nobody that's gonna give me 35 points, man.
No one's gonna give you 35 points. Unfortunately,
yeah, right.
Derrick Henry is one of a kind this season. He was like CJ2K a couple years ago.
Man,
there's no running back out there, I think, right now.
I even had Mahomes, man. I had Mahomes, and then he decided he just wanted to fumble and throw interceptions the last 4 games.
Like, it's not my year this year.
Yeah, so.
You know what? It didn't sound very promising for you from the start with your fantasy team, but we'll see. Thank you, Marco. We'll let you go. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. All right. As usual, great stuff from our guy Marco, but I can't wait to get to our next guest.
Yeah,
let's go on and bring her on. As Marco alluded to, we have guest Maggie Awad here. And Maggie, how are you?
Yay.
Can you hear us?
How y'all doing?
Good.
We're good. We heard that you were the specialist.
Yeah, it's 10:30 out here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
A little rough day for Dallas today. I don't want to mention about.
Yeah, I had Dallas defense. Thank you very much.
See,
like what
so
are we
doing? You guys are already bonding here. It's perfect.
I had a great night last night, though. Did y'all watch the game last night?
Yeah, but it didn't really.
Oh, that's perfect. Maggie, thank you for joining us. As Marco said, you do work with pro athletes, and you're a little bit more on a different end of the spectrum there, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit more about what your specialty is?
Yeah, so it's really going to be booming here very soon because, from just the perspective of just the athlete, they are so much supported by, orthopedics and physical therapists and athletic trainers. And there seems to be a really big gap about, what's going on with them on a cellular level. And the way I was taught by my mentor was to really look at the athlete as a system, as a whole. And, we see this with regular people like us and like you, is that whenever we have something going on, we're thrown with going to different people. You go to a specialist for this and a specialist for that and a specialist for this, and no one is talking to each other. And so the way I look and I observe the athlete is as somebody that is from a system point of view, right? Because that's how our body works. Is, the gastrointestinal system, like your stomach is affected, but with, what's going on with your brain, you heard about that, the access, how that's affected, how our heart affects our kidneys, right? And seeing it from like that system point of view. And so my job is to really look at the root cause of injury, which is inflammation, right? And that's what we want to tackle, is that inflammation. So what's going on within the athlete, before the injury? And the 3 questions that I always ask is, why this athlete, why this injury, and why now?
Yeah, I ask that about Anthony Davis all the time. Let me ask. I'm not sure if you've studied, Anthony, but he's literally been injury prone pretty much his whole career. When he's, I don't think I've ever seen him 100%, even when he game 1 of the season. Mm-hmm. And he's always one of those, like, it's always a knee or, a hamstring or things like that. Like
something decent.
Right. So, I mean, or like a muscle, or muscle or joint usually with AD. Do you have any speculation on why he continues to have like injuries like that, or injury prone in general?
So I guess what is really important is the assessment of the athlete. And what I do is I take a very thorough assessment, like a physical history, right? I mean, I even ask them, how they were born. Were they born vaginally or were they born C-section? As crazy as that sounds, because the way of being born affects your immune system. It affects how our immune system and how we're able to, recoup and recover, because that starts in our gut. And so simply just taking a thorough history and looking at epigenetics and looking at what's going on with their family and looking at their nutrition and looking at, okay, where are they training? Are they around a lot of toxins, right? So like for, golfers, they're around a lot of toxins because they're outside and there's glyphosate and they spray all this, toxic crap on, the course, and that they're breathing that in, and that can affect their immune system and how they recover. So it's very intensive assessment that I would love to ask him and be like, here are these full questions. Let's dive deep into this and look at what your triggers are. Because it always starts with the triggers. People always want to jump on the gun and be like, here, let me give you this anti-inflammatory. And a lot of people don't know that inflammatories wreck your gut, right? So right. I don't even like to prescribe those more than 10 to 14 days max. You don't want to be on that.
Well, it sounds like what you're saying, though, is the inflammation is actually a warning. It's showing you something. If you're just taking inflammatories, all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on that, correct?
Right. Absolutely.
So you're just leaving yourself open.
You want to get to the bottom of triggers. That's exactly what this is all about. You want to see exactly, is it their shoe? Is it the way that they're walking? Right? Is it, what is it that they're eating constantly? And that's why I do thorough testing, like food sensitivity testing, looking at their gut. Is there yeast growing in their gut? I mean, I've had world-class elite athletes that have had things growing in their gut that they had no idea, right? So that's inflammation that's already brewing that they had no idea that was going on.
Well, let me ask you this though. Like getting back to AD, I know you never have seen him, worked with him, but he was basically a size of a guard, and then over 6 months or so, he grew up to a center. Like he grew up like almost a
9 inches or a foot.
Yeah, almost a foot. Is that the fact the growth rate that he had? Does that affect possible injury him being injury prone that way?
I'll be honest with you. So like from like a pediatric perspective, I don't know if you guys know or if you've had the experience remember when you were 13 and you went through a really big growth spurt, they call them growing pains, for adolescent boys. And so that's because their growth plates are starting to, extend to just more aggressively than they would like. So not to get all too sciencey, but some of y'all were shaking your head when I said that. Like, yeah, I remember those growing pains. So that could be a factor too.
I remember my son went through we'll say the child basketball protocol where travel ball team and such. And there were many players that he was playing with from 11U to 14U, that's for sure, that were wearing ankle braces and knee braces and were told that it was growing pains. But I really wonder if is it really okay to continue to play and ball as hard as they do with what we're maybe casually calling growing pains, or is that creating a future problem?
I think the problem that I would say with a lot of adolescent sports is that they play year round, and not even pro athletes do that. Like their parents want to put them in, they're like, well, I want them to be pro. So they're going to be in this. And then when it's Christmas time, I'm going to put them in this camp. And in the summer, I'm going to put them in a 2-month camp. Mm-hmm. And you're not allowing you're not allowing enough time for recovery. You're not allowing enough time for the player to absorb the training, which is really important. When you're talking about resiliency in the athlete, you want to absorb the training. And so another thing is that I think it's, football is really big in Texas, right? Like, everybody wants their kid to be like the next, NFL big cowboy player and all that. And so you see that a lot, and you're seeing now more injuries more than ever because they're not having diversity in sport. So from just a medical sports medicine standpoint, if anyone has kids, I really encourage to really diverse the sports for them, and it helps them with different things like agility and just being able to. I mean, listen, like Dirk, he didn't start off playing basketball; he played tennis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of those players,
Nash, soccer.
Yeah, a lot of those players, a lot of the players from Europe, especially like Luka and like even Pau Gasol, they played soccer but they outgrew the sport. So now you can't be a 7 foot. You got too many 5'3", 5 foot. Yeah, literally grew out of the sport. And
they could be probably a good goalie, but maybe they're too slow.
But it's like that's boring. They're not scoring anything. Right? So. But so you see that, but they also have, like you were saying before, that diversity in sports. I mean, I remember like growing up, and you had you'll be like off-season sports, right? You had like you go like some
baseball
people being
to this, to that.
Football. You had track. You had, and your body was able to, not just have the same muscles being worked over and over and over, the same ligaments being worked over and over, and you get, more, like you were saying before, you get more agile, and your agility, gets better. So, yeah, I think that is very important, because once you have year-round sports, it just seems like these kids are being overworked.
Yeah. It's funny you say that too, because Michael Thompson, even on the radio, he always used to say that he would not let his kids play. Like when the season was over, he forced them to do something else.
So take time off.
Not just take time off, but some other sport. Like if like Klay Thompson, he wanted him to play baseball, or you wanted him to play,
it worked because he's got a professional baseball player and a professional basketball player.
But what he said was, I guess it's along the lines of what we're saying, is that if you're not using the same muscles year round, therefore they have opportunity to rest. But let me ask you one last question. I know it's we have a couple more minutes with you. How we know diet is important, but how important is diet? Because I mean, I've heard, like, we especially with Marco and And other people will say that, when they come into the league, everybody tells them, hey, 19-year-old kid, hey, you need to have a certain diet and make sure you
get sleep,
you eat right and you get sleep and you rest. And then, they like, man, I'm good. And then they go to a club and they go to a hookah bar and, they do all these things.
Whatever they're doing.
And then, so now they don't have, they realize that, oh man, 10, 15 years in the league, they're like, oh man, I can't do what I used to do.
They're smoking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add to his question. So he asked how important is diet, but my question to add to that, because I was going to piggyback on that, is how important, is diet in the whole scheme of things, but also, are you starting to see a trend, or has it already happened in professional sports where teams are being much more forceful with their players or more strict to get on that diet?
So I always see, as if you think about it, like our cells in our body are always constantly listening, right? So whenever we eat something, it's information. It's information, and it's taking it as information. So whenever we're eating something, the body sees it as, okay, what is this thing? So when you are ingesting a lot of processed foods, your body doesn't recognize that, because it is made in the lab. It is something that is processed. Obviously, it's something that is genetically modified. That is palatable. They've these companies have invested millions and millions of dollars in bringing in food psychologists to create something that our brain is going to be addicted to. So, and unfortunately, it's gearing more towards the younger athletes, right? So, diet, obviously, and food, taking that in as number one, as medicine, because I always don't like to throw supplements on athletes. I feel like the supplement industry is very much, they're doing well. It's $1 billion industry. And it is just, a lot of people are using supplements as a form of food. And so we need to switch that mindset and be like, okay, what are some of the things that I need to ingest? How much protein do I need to ingest? And the other thing, what I do with my testing is seeing is your body actually absorbing this? Is it absorbing the protein? Because sometimes it isn't.
Gotcha. And that all has an effect. Are there, what is the gamut of tests? How long does something like that take when you're doing a study on somebody?
Yeah. So as far as the gut testing, that usually, it comes in a kit, and then I usually get information back from 3 weeks to a month. But within that time, I have my athletes, do a food diary. I also want to know, how long they're training and what time they're sleeping. That's the other thing that I want to touch on, is there's so much emphasis on food, but I think the most important thing when it comes to resiliency in the athlete, and also in recovery and becoming a better athlete in general, is to dial in some more sleep.
Gotcha.
So, I'm assuming you recommend at least 8 hours.
So I don't say that. I don't say 8 hours. I usually have my athletes wear a, I don't want to endorse anything, but I have them wear a heart rate variability monitor on them. It either comes in a form of a ring, or it comes in form of a, they have the Whoop or the Aura, whatever.
Sure.
And to check their sleep. Some people do great on 6 hours. Some people do great on 8 hours. So it depends on how deep you're sleeping. So the depth that you're having of that non-REM sleep is really important, because that's when recovery happens.
So as usual, guys, there's layers to this.
Because I'm thinking like, man, I must be doing it all wrong. I'm just like 4 hours, 5
but you
hours.
got young ones and little ones at the house running around. You're just doing what you can.
Right.
Maggie, thank you so much. Please let everybody know how they can keep up to date with you, because you really do post some really great stuff.
Thank you. Yeah. So I know we got connected on LinkedIn. I'm also very active on Instagram as well, Maggie.Awad _. And I hate that underscore because someone took my name.
Uh,
I feel like just messaging them and be like, hey, can you just like sell this?
give your name back.
Yeah, come on, let's
$100
move
or
something
something.
out, right?
Right.
Underscore that eats at you. I understand, but you know what? People remember it. It's with the underscore.
It's like athletes asking for, to get on a new team. Like, can I get that number?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Maggie. I'll keep up with you. Keep up online, and we'll be in touch. Hope
Thank
to have
you.
you on again real soon.
Thank you for staying up late with us. We really appreciate it.
Get some rest.
All
Bye.
right. Good
Take
night.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Yeah, guys. So diet, sleep, we always knew that,
Yeah.
but I think that the science is proving that it's even more important than ever before. And to the ones that aren't taking it seriously are going to pay the price. They aren't going to have that extended career yet with the diet. Father Time is still undefeated.
Man,
Yeah, listen.
obviously, right?
Can we talk about these 41 and 41 Lakers? I'm just saying that's the way they playing. I mean, does anybody agree with me? Like, does anybody see anything better? Hey, my girl Andrea in here. I'm gonna bring you on. Look, in a minute. Listen, I'm done with these Lakers. I'm letting y'all know right now.
No, we too early, bro.
Hey, I'm just letting you know
we
right
too
now.
early for that. Dog.
You're done?
Hey. Look,
for that.
You know what?
For that.
Look, let me just throw it out there, man. This is my feeling. Like there's no cohesiveness on this team. We have a whole lot of people. Like, here's my thing. When they, what was that game against? Who was it? It was a couple games ago, and they had a stat. It was the last game LeBron played, right? LeBron had 27.
Yeah, 27, 24.
27, 24, and 23. So I'm looking like, and I'm like, yo.
That's the only thing you saw, right?
That's the only thing I saw. And then I'm like, yo, we blew them out. No, we won by 2. Like, what are we doing? Like, this
It's true.
What is this team doing? What is the what is the offensive game plan? What defense are we playing? We have a whole lot of players individually doing well, but we're not performing as a team, as we can see by the 26-point lead blown and a 19-point lead blown, and that the team that I'm talking about that we lost to only have 2 wins, right? Yes. So, is it the talent?
It's the heart.
What is going on?
All right, you know what? It's a great question because the Lakers are stumping the whole league except for Clipper Darrell. He loves it. But Clipper Darrell, we got you because it's still early in the season. But don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. We just have to give some love to our sponsors here and say hello. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for joining the Profanity Nation podcast. We will be right back.
The Profanity Nation is now the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers fan club on Clubhouse. Be sure to join. Over 5,000 strong and growing. Also, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt. Again, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt.
Hey guys, every once in a while, you got to chill out, you got to hang out, you got to relax. And when I want to do that, I head over to the Pure Life Alternative Wellness Center in Chatsworth, California. They are an awesome dispensary stocked with everything that you need to relax, hang out. It doesn't matter which way you want to take it or enjoy it. Just go there, say hello, tell them the Profanity Nation sent you. That is Pure Life Alternative Wellness Center. You just have to stop by because that's the place to be. Stat.
Nice. Well, the Good News Radio and Podcast Network is where you can find access and find some of the best shows and personalities in the business live and on demand right at your fingertips. It's simple. Just download the Good News Radio app and enjoy all of your favorite shows on the network.
All right, guys. All right. Well, thank you for sticking around with us in the Profanity Nation podcast. We have some fun stuff to talk about and some not so fun stuff to talk about. All right. Money Mike, we were here a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, kind of slowly but surely how the preseason, they went, 0-6, 0-8? 0-8.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we were the preseason, all the apologists. We kind of felt there was a little more to it, but you didn't want to look like an idiot. And,
you know what? Look,
sky's falling.
I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in right now. because I'm full disclosure, that was me. Like I definitely was scoffing at the 0-8. I'm like, it's preseason. We're gonna get it together. We're gonna find it. We're gonna get it. And then all of a sudden, like after you see that, and then you start seeing the lineups being put on the floor, then you start losing faith in the whole process, right? Because I'm still struggling. Why in the world we still have DJ starting games? Like literally starting games. If you go and just go on and Google Deandre Jordan and look at his defense and see how he's never around the play. Now he may have a block or two, when they really come to him. But if he has to be in rotation, if he has to hedge, he has to do any of that stuff like that, he is a deer in headlights, and they exploit him and they hunt for him. But the thing about that is I'm really struggling. Why do I see my coach still putting him in positions to fail? And that's where I think it's starting from the top down. A lot of this stuff is injuries. I get that. But if AD got to play the 5, he got to play the 5. If we got to start Dwight, we got to start Dwight. Stop doing the same thing, and hopefully this stuff works out for you, because now he doesn't have his crutch, which was LeBron, and now he also has to worry about Westbrook and try to go ahead and acclimate him to the offense. It's a little frustrating at this point for me.
Money Mike, Stat Pat brings up coaching, brings up, possibly players, rotation, starters, and this and that. Is Vogel getting exposed?
I mean, I think absolutely he's getting exposed. First of all, I thought he was a defensive coach.
Well, that isn't looking good at all, right?
And the offense, we're scoring points, even with bad lineups, but no defense is getting paid. Play. These runs that they're making, he's not calling timeout. He's not making adjustments. So I don't know what's going on right now, but we're in LA. I can't be like, oh, we'll figure it out. I'm not that guy. But you know what? I'm gonna ask Andrea. Andrea, I know you have something to say.
Woo-wee. Do I have a lot to say? Where do you want me to start?
Oh, everywhere you want. You have the mic, Andrea.
Just bring it.
Man, listen. Vogel gonna get fired by game 25. Guaranteed. This is why, okay? First and foremost, you guys already said it. He's a defensive coach. I don't see where on God's green earth we're playing any lick of defense. I swear, once Carmelo Anthony has 4 blocks in a game, we're on a snowball trajectory downward. He's never played defense ever, but all of a sudden
he's our best defender.
Right.
Come on, this is blasphemy, right? We touched on Deandre Jordan. Okay, why he's starting. I understand why he's starting. He got to get acclimated because, by golly, wow, his eyes look like super close together, and that's the reason why he gets lost on the floor. I don't know what's going on, but
improper spacing of the pupils. Man,
improper spacing, absolutely. For me, the last part, the part that I really want to focus on is I don't know if anybody has caught both OKC games as well as the last Portland game.
Yeah.
And literally watch the common sense meter of Russell Westbrook go from 10 to -42. I had never seen somebody miss so many wide open layups. You're averaging, if y'all, there's a tweet that says there are more games that Russell Westbrook has gotten more turnovers than hit field goals. When he played Portland, he made 1 field goal, shot 7%, and had 6 turnovers, bro.
Right.
In 5 of the 10 games we played, he's had more turnovers than actual balls in the basket. I'm so overwhelmed with, I don't know what Vogel is doing. I think that I'm hoping and praying that AD went out of that game so we can actually, you know what, Russ, have a free-for-all. Let me see what you actually can do. But then guess what? You actually plummeted and you failed. And it's not even like we lost with honorable fashion. We look like deer in about 50,000 headlights. Right now, I think we should just go on ahead and ship Russell Westbrook to Cleveland and go on ahead and get Ricky Rubio, because that man shoots 80% from free throw. Oh, Russ shoots a whopping 60% this season from free throw, right? And he's shooting a whopping 20. He shot 2 of 8 and his 3-point percentage went up. Riddle me that. Okay? And
That's hard to do.
Like, it's blasphemy everywhere. I feel like Vogel, you have all these pieces, and if you can't figure out decent lineups, that's really bad. We have Hall of Famers all over this doggone team. You have to be able to put a lineup. I know 2 lineups right now we should be running. First and foremost, when we were playing OKC, the first game we're up by 26, and you see Russell Westbrook out of sorts going 9,000 miles per hour, sub him out and bring in Rondo and take him out the game.
Slow it down.
Obviously, your common sense, he gets to points where we're up, and you can see he's playing well, but then he feels like hero mode. It's like something else clicks on, and he does the stupidest crap until the game is over.
Yep.
I'm like, you were doing completely different when the game started. And then did y'all see the out of bounds pass he left his man on the baseline? Then you shoot the 3 after Carmelo hit 2, Austin Reeves hits 1, and Avery Bradley hits 1 in the OKC game. But you want to pull up with 8 seconds left on the clock and play hero ball. And after they all bailed you out, I'm livid,
bro.
Guys.
Okay.
I'm livid.
Okay. You got go ahead. Because I'm feeling all that, and you know what I'm pissed off about is the fact that I ask anyone, like, if your starting point guard is averaging 5 turnovers a game, I don't give a damn what's going on around him. I don't care who's balling. If your starting point guard is averaging 5 turnovers a game, you're not winning the championship. That would go against everything in the history of the game. Just starting there, you just can't do that. And you see him doing it over and over. Now, sometimes I'm looking at some of the turnovers. I'm really I'm trying to see, how did he last so long? I know in the league, I know he's very athletic, but I mean, Stu Lance every time. You know how Stu Lance say about 5 different things. 5 of the same things every game, right? Nice. You know, everything. He says so same thing, right? One of the things he always says, don't jump up and leave your feet to make a pass. That's one of the things he harps on.
It's pretty basic. That's 11U basketball right there.
Yes, and because it's because it's fundamentals. Yeah. And you see him do it over and over and over. And I'm like, what are you thinking? I'd rather you just jump up in the air. You get lost. You don't have heave it to the basket, bro. At least I can know I have a chance at the offensive rebound. I don't care if you brick. Just throw it up there, dude. We have a better chance of getting the ball back, hitting the rim, than we do when you just throw the ball.
Speaking of brick, I just need to interject here. You guys did catch the soundbite from Derek Fisher on Spectrum Sportsnet.
Westbrook.
He accidentally said, "Oh well, I don't know," but he said he's like, "Okay, when Westbrook." He said it.
But here's my thing, though. You know, we know that Westbrook is All-Star. We know Westbrook is the MVP. We know he's a walking triple-double. Is this the Laker syndrome where he just, you know when Rice came over to his team,
you go up or you go down?
Yeah, we told you about it. There's something about that purple and gold.
Yeah, is it something about the purple and gold, or is it Vogel not putting him in a position for him to win? For the Lakers to win. And the reason why I say that is they still got LeBron bringing the ball up when Westbrook is on the floor. So Westbrook ain't got nothing to do. So now when LeBron's not there, now Westbrook is like, because it seems like the offense is not going through him. And that's what I always felt like. In order for it to work and be successful, the offense has to go through.
So I'm just saying something.
I'm just saying.
Mike, money. Okay, but we saw that movie, though. See what I'm saying? We're looking at that happening in the first 4 or 5 games. We're like saying, okay, you have to be Russ. You have to be the point guard. You need the ball in your hands. We're giving you the ball in your hands. And he's consistently turning the ball over. And not only just turning the ball over, it's just bonehead turnovers. So it's like, okay, and I love Russell. And and it's kind of, everybody's like, oh my God, he crept walking on the court and everything. Like, we ain't with that right now. What's happening right now?
Can we not win it?
We're not winning.
And you got to win before you can do anything.
What's happening right now? You in LA, bro. That's what's happening. And now you're being exposed. Everything. I know. Yeah, we got tape on Russell. We know about Russell, but there ain't never been no heat like this before. Like this because we already at the point trying to throw our shoes on the court. Like we already, he's already given up on the season. You know, it's like we're
supposed to go to the game tomorrow, Mike.
But
we're going to see LaBello.
Well, yes, we are going tomorrow, and I will be 100% rooting for the Lakers, and I definitely expect for everybody to be playing well.
But can you admit that we need LeBron though?
Can I admit we need LeBron?
Come on now.
I think we need Lonzo.
No, I'm saying Lonzo ain't walking through that door. Okay, so who we have?
Well,
you got to admit that we need LeBron, man, on that court.
Yeah,
but we shouldn't. For the games that we just played and lost, we should not need LeBron for those games.
And what's so bad about it is we have like the home schedule. Like, we're about to go on the road.
Oh yeah.
And these games are about to get really, really tough.
It's going to get worse.
And everybody's gunning for us. I just want to know, how are we going to be able to, how are we going to fix this? I mean, that's,
okay.
We're Laker fans. We got to figure out how we can fix it so that way we can tell.
If you're listening, we know you are. We can see you out there watching right now. Please, in the comments, Big Baby, if you're still out there, how can we get this back on track? Because this is not on track, and eventually we got to stop saying it's still early in the season or it's preseason.
Yeah, I think though. So I'm killing the guys on them losing and all that stuff, and I'm harping on Westbrook. I actually think that we still haven't seen none. Like, we still haven't seen him on the court with Ariza. We still haven't seen these wing defenders that we would have in the game. Now, I'm not saying they would have made some monumental differences, but what I'm saying is it's the rotation would probably get a little tighter. The problem with that is we don't have a timetable we have a timetable, but I don't know when it is. I don't know when they come in.
Well, I know Ariza was 8 weeks. So we're another month at least.
Now we do have I do love.
You know what help us if our savior is Ariza at this stage in his career, then we need we're in trouble.
I mean, shoot. I mean, at this point,
I love Ariza, but come on.
Okay, so here's the question. So you bringing up the point. The question is, once we quote unquote get to full strength, with Ariza and Kendrick come back,
we have to go undefeated.
Are we going to turn the corner and be able to? I'm not going to say undefeated. Let's say, can we win 5 games in a row?
We have to win the games we're supposed to win.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if they're going to get together by playoffs. You know what?
Andrea blinking the mic again.
Okay, get her on. Get her on. Andrea, go ahead.
Y'all depended on Trevor.
I was gonna say.
Listen, I'm only asking a question. The only reason why I was asking that is because, yes, he's a great piece. I love Trevor, right? However, this is contingent. Honestly speaking, it doesn't matter what our role players do. At the end of the day, they're here for a specific role. They're not needle pushers to me, right? What we need to do is figure out the core. Once our core can get it together, everybody falls into place. We don't need to worry about everybody else, right?
Right.
The issue is when Braun is on the ball and you have Russ off the ball, he has to have some sort of common sense. I haven't seen that in years. So we're stuck in a catch-22, right? He's a freakish athlete who was never a point guard. This is our problem. He started off a shooting guard.
Mm-hmm.
And literally his shot was decent and now it's declining. So we're faced with, okay, Braun, are you going to play off the ball? And you can bring it up, but then let Russ take over in the paint, or what are we going to do? How is this going to look? Because at the end of the day, we're stuck. 2 people are ball dominant. 2 people need the ball in their hand majority of the time to create, right? And if the ball is out of LeBron's hand, the ball doesn't move like it's supposed to. The one good thing I can say is when Russell's on the floor, the ball moves. That's what I do know. Right. When LeBron's off the floor, the ball moves. We literally just can't shoot if Russ is shooting. You know what I'm saying? We need to just figure out how our 3 stars can work, and then it will fall into place. I honestly feel that Russell and LeBron need to be staggered at all time. They never need to be on the floor at the same time. They can start, for starting lineup purposes, but we need to be subbing immediately and staggering them. The games that they all played together, the last game that LeBron played, Vogel actually did that, and we won, and it looked like a win. And it's because the ball doesn't get stuck, and you don't get Westbrook off the ball shooting nothing but bricks, taking viable attempts from Carmelo, who's on fire this year.
Yep, right.
And taking shots away from Austin Reeves, who actually think he knows what he's doing as a rookie. But you, God Almighty, feel like you can hit the shot, Russ. That's where we have an issue. His common sense has to kick in.
I feel you, Andre. I mean, I think me and you discussed offline that literally, I mean, both of them obviously have to start, but LeBron needs to go out at the 6-minute mark and then allow Westbrook to run the second unit. And then when you sit down Westbrook, bring Rondo in to work with LeBron. Vincio, I think you want to say something.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Dre said that. What I think is that we need to bring back LeBron back to the point guard position, like what we did in 2020. Like that would totally work. Push Russ to the shooting guard spot. Like she did mention that he started his career off as a shooting guard. Like why don't we use him as a slasher? Like I feel like that would literally work. That's what happened in Miami with D Wade also, right?
That is correct.
Yeah,
that is correct. Except D Wade is more efficient.
At that stage, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen. At this point,
they could still run those plays, though.
Yeah, and at this point, something could try because his percentage ain't
he just has to be an intangible person right now. We don't need you for scoring. Carmel, between Bron, AD, and Melo, we can get 20 to 25 on any given night at least. And then role players are giving us a solid 8 to 10. That's good enough to win a game.
So let me.
And they also have David Fizdale in the coaching in the the bench, right? They have him as an assistant coach. So even to maintain the egos, they have someone.
Yeah, and well, going back to the coaching, like, isn't this all coaching? Like, shouldn't they be running this and practicing this?
Yeah.
Before the game and trying to figure out like what is the best strengths. I mean, because look, I mean, I think that's what they should do. I mean, this coaching staff should get together, look at where everybody flourishes, and put them in that position to do that. And I don't feel that they have. I feel like
was Jason Kidd that important?
Maybe I don't know. I mean, we're seeing that.
I mean, it has to be. But then it's like, but let's go back to what our original point was, and we all can agree that Vogel's a defensive coach, and so like I know Tibbs, wherever Tibbs go, like I don't give a damn who Tibbs could have us three. And Andre and somebody else, and we're gonna be top 10 defense. That's unreal. That's it. Always happens. And over time, he's gonna get gonna get the pieces that he needs to go ahead and really tighten the screws. And defensively, they are always up there. And so you can see Tibbs. They're gonna play hard defense. They're gonna be tough nosed. You're hard nosed. You know a Tibbs team when you see it. I don't know what our identity is now. I mean, they said that we traded defense for offense. But now, since we have this glorified, our 3-point percentage is high, that's masking all the other stuff that I see, like she was talking about before, like the ball sometimes does not stop. And I'm really upset with Russ taking that 3. I'm still not over that. I'm still not over that because he literally dribbled the ball. It's not 8 seconds.
It's not the play.
It's never the play.
Right.
It's never when LeBron does it, never the play. Just a drop with dribble.
It was the play. You didn't see it? Vogel said.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I know he made the play. I'm just saying, why did he? Okay, so if that's the case, then he really needs to be fired because there's no reason why I'm going to have him stuck on the corner and just say, okay, Russ, what you're going to do is you're going to wind down the clock, dribble all the way to 8, and then heave the 3. When you have Carmelo Anthony was killing it,
and on fire,
and he made the other 3. He made the 3.
Y'all got a freeze frame when he shot the 3. If y'all notice, Carmelo was wide open, waving for the ball, literally waving. I froze it. I watched it 4 times. Like I can't believe this man is slow. What?
And look, let me tell y'all. I must admit, look, because I kind of was a little annoyed at having Carmelo on the team, because I was like, this dude is going to take the air out the ball. But look,
he's playing well.
And I said, I was talking about how he ain't going to get no assists, and I was proving that point. He was getting 1 and 0, no problem, 0 and 1 assist. But dude, that ball going in,
dude,
he getting buckets,
dude. He comes like LeBron's like, you come to LA, I'm gonna get you buckets.
Yeah.
And you ain't gonna work for him, dude. I mean, all you gotta do is just look at the basket, shoot in the basket. That's all you gotta do. Yeah. What I've been begging people to do since I got on this team. Because ain't nobody got a consistent jump shot. However, let's go back to one thing in this offseason. This is sometimes I hate when I hear that the players to the GMs. I hate that. Because they get in the way sometimes. And yes, we can talk about people being buddy, but I'm now looking at the Buddy Hill situation.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring that up.
And I'm feeling like buyer's remorse right now.
How is that? See now we're putting a lot of blame on Vogel for not putting these players in a position to succeed. However, these players were brought to him by Pelinka, and I know whoever behind the scenes pulling the strings, LeBron, but Pelinka signs off. Pelinka says, here, make this happen. Is it Vogel or is it Pelinka? I'd love to hear Clubhouse's thought.
Andrea, who's the blame? Who's the blame for this sorry team right now?
Listen, hey, the thing about it is we're not even sorry, though.
Right.
The thing is we
look good on paper, though.
What we did was we went and got pieces because they look good. But who I think is to blame is the person that literally called Buddy Hield and told him never mind because he was on his way to LA. Okay, the person that called and said never mind and said never mind Russell Westbrook is on his way to LA. That's the person that I blame. That exact person.
That has to be Pelinka.
That'd be Pelinka.
I mean,
guys,
sorry. Go ahead, Vichy.
Now, right now, we are talking hindsight. Like, what if Buddy Hield didn't work? We also had Danny Green, right? Danny Green, melted down in the finals. We all gave him.
You never know. It's true.
Buddy Hield would have worked because guess what? He's a knockdown shooter that doesn't need the ball in his hands. He can create for himself, and he's a knockdown outside shooter. He doesn't have
the Knights
to.
Of LA got
he's not dominant. He's not dominant. So it's a perfect compliment to LeBron. The only thing is we needed somebody, go figure. This is so ironic. We needed somebody to come to LA to take the load off of LeBron so he could rest, right?
Yep.
So somebody who could bring the ball up, make it easier for Bron, so he could sit down and take days off. And lo and behold, we're here. He's taking days off. And Russell Westbrook he's failing even to just be himself. That's the part that boggles my mind. You had 8 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 turnovers, shoot 7% from the field, and below 60% for free throw. I have a problem, guys. I really do. That's your point guard stat?
It sounds like you're just trying to do too much. Just trying to do way too much. Maybe he'll relax a little bit, but I am worried about the injuries continuing. How many games Bron's going to play? How many games AD's going to play? How many games these 401, the 401 IRA Lakers, the 401k Lakers that's a concern, and it's already. I mean, we're 10 games in, and it's already rearing its ugly head. Already.
But see, all this.
I'm glad they're injured now than later.
Right.
This is good. Get it out the way now, and it's not like I think LeBron will be back soon. I think it said like a week to 2 weeks, and then he'll be back. I think Vogel needs to actually be a coach instead of a friend or a partner. He needs to be able to tell, okay, Bron, it's time to sit down. Okay, it's time to play Rondo more. Okay, I'm going to need Malik Monk. I'm going to need you to lock down on defense because he's another piece that really gives us good minutes. Yep. And I don't understand why your rotations look as trash as they do. It's crazy.
That's why I'm saying, like, I know we shouldn't be leaning on the other guys. Like, I know we shouldn't like we said before, resting our hopes on Trevor Ariza. But sometimes the veterans will get into a game and be like, okay, we're going to figure it out. we're going to figure this out. You know what I'm saying? We're going to figure it out. And I just don't see, like she was saying before, like Vogel needs to get to be a coach now.
Yeah,
now is the time. Now is the time, and we don't have any time to waste anymore. We're 500. We're not in preseason anymore. I mean, Golden State is 8-1 or 7-1 or something like that. Yep. So
and they haven't have Clay yet.
And it's like, because they're on a mission and they know, and they have a system and they know what they want to run, and they've been doing it for a long time and all the other stuff. But anyway,
and that really is the biggest thing, because I mean, it's not just going to stay on the mission. It's a whole lot of teams on the mission.
They're playing well.
That
a lot better than us. And they're definitely not afraid of the Lakers.
Right.
Oh no.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like they know, like, hey, we have a good squad, and they're confident. Yeah. It's not like back in the day where, oh yeah, they're the top two, and we're going to lose. We'll try our best. No, there's teams out there that really, really believe that they could actually win the championship or definitely get past the Lakers.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone's afraid of the Lakers right now.
But a lot of that is, I mean, goes back to the coaching. I think the coaching, you have to. Westbrook is definitely not having one of his best years, nowhere near close to MVP. But that means that as a coach, you have to have a conversation with him. Say, hey, what's going on? What do you think that we could do to make you more effective? You're not. If your name was not Russell Westbrook, you wouldn't be playing. Right. So what can we do? Because I know what you can do. I know how productive you can be. We've seen it. What can we do to make you better? And they need that conversation, and then build the team around that, especially while LeBron's hurt.
Yeah.
All right. So if you watch the show, if you watch the Profanity Nation podcast, then you know that we always end our shows with a segment that we call Money Mike's Out of Bounds. Our buddy here, Money Mike, he's going to go ahead and share his thoughts or opinion on a topic, and he just wants to know if his thoughts are in bounds or out of bounds. Money Mike.
Real controversial, y'all.
Okay.
I hope we don't get kicked out. Get off.
That's my first time being in the studio, man. I'm trying to get on.
Hey, we in the new studio. Hey, I've been. There was something that happened over in L.A. or actually Inglewood. There's a football game. The football game was Inglewood. They were playing their rivals, 106-0 to Morningside, right? And all the news is on there talking about, oh my God, Inglewood, how dare they?
This is high school?
High school football. They blew them out 106-0. They had a 2-point conversion from 104 to 106. And they're just, everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe that this happened, and bad sportsmanship and all this stuff. And then CIF Southern Section put a statement out. They said, we expect coaches, players, officials, administrators, and students to adhere to the 6 pillars of character: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. Now, personally, I feel they did all that.
I don't see a problem.
I think they just whooped their ass.
That's it.
And I think that, listen, if you are on the opposing team and you have decided that you don't want to go and quit, you want to go and quit and not run hard, because I saw those highlights. They were not running fast. They were not trying to tackle anybody. So why is it okay? Why do I have to stop and not continue to score? If the opposing team doesn't want to do anything to stop me. Now, this is how I feel. Right? I'm sorry, y'all. This really burned me up, because I hated all the media coverage and all the other stuff that did. Look, this is the problem with the kids today.
Exactly.
The problem with the kids today is, you know what? You need to get your feelings hurt. You know what I mean? If I have glasses. They call me 4 eyes. They put, they did the Rob thing. You know what I mean? But guess what? When I'm 20, 25, I'm hardened, right? So if someone say, Michael, you ugly, I'm not going to go try to kill myself, right? Because I've been through high school. I've been talked about. The problem with this world today and these kids, they don't have no adversity to them until they're 20 years old. They interviewed the kids over there. They said, yeah, we knew we was going to lose. Well, look, y'all knew y'all was going to lose. Y'all going to lose. So am I out of bounds for saying it is okay for some feelings to get hurt and you to lose 106-0, and it ain't a big deal? Am I out of bounds for saying
no?
That?
100% in bounds. 100% in bounds. I can't even, you put it so perfectly, because when you have those players out there and it's 106-0,
right?
Look, man. Sometimes you need to learn life lessons.
Right.
Okay. This is a life lessons. Were you better than your opponent? No. Okay. Okay. You're not. This is evident by the score.
Right.
So you can't. So what you need to do is work on your game. Yes. My game. Was your game good enough to win the game or compete or score a point? No, it wasn't. You need to get back into the gym and work harder. If I'm telling you everything's going to be okay and I'm going to give you a trophy and say, okay, we're going to eat pizza. Let's go out and eat pizza after the game. We ain't learned nothing.
Right.
Because I know after every game, there's going to be pizza. Pizza should be, like they said, pizza for winners.
Pizza and ice cream?
And ice cream? Can I get sprinkles?
So that's an inbounds.
I'm inbound.
100%.
Okay, I'm definitely saying inbounds. Do we have anybody from Clubhouse that wants to chime in?
Okay, Andrea, what do you think?
Hey, man, you completely inbound.
Nice.
They went from Division 13 to Division 2. That thing got turned up right side up. I say you go for it. Like, he's right. Society now has our kids too soft. We have to be able to like show some adversity and get ourselves prepared so it's not such a big jump, you know, when they go to college or they go into the workforce.
And someone says no.
Hey, man, and then they throw a fit. They cry, they go home. They don't know how to handle it. You know,
they just ghost. They just shut it down now. That's all they do.
Right.
Yeah, that mercy rule is for the weak.
It's horrible. No. Vishan, do you have a comment on that?
I'm not that good with my football knowledge, but I'm gonna go inbounds.
There you go.
Yeah,
100%.
Hey, 100%.
Hey, so I'm gonna tell y'all a good story. I appreciate I'm 100%. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. It happened. I was at ASO. We had a soccer game. And my daughter was there, and we was on a sorry team. And I knew we was going to be on a sorry team because the first time we had the coach said, I don't care if y'all win or lose. I just want y'all to have fun. I said, okay, this. And then he asked for somebody to help him coach. I said, dude, I can't help you because having fun is winning. So, you know, that's how I felt. But I'm going to tell you why I was proud of my daughter. I'm going to tell you why I was proud of my daughter. My daughter was on the field, and she kind of was moping around, and I was like, what's wrong with you? She said, we're going to lose. You know what I told my daughter? I said, you don't be the reason. You know what she did? She went and scored a goal and then looked back at me. You know what I'm saying? I told her about this. I said, you know, they're really mad. She said it was 106-0. You know what she said? She said, they're bad losers. That's my baby. That's what I'm talking about. You understand that? As long, you know, it's okay to lose, but you don't be the reason why you lose. If they all go over there and gave up, then that's they bad.
Yep.
But you don't be the reason.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all.
We love it. All right. So, Money Mike, you're 100% tonight with your inbounds, your out of bounds. Everything's good. Thank you so much, Clubhouse. We love having you guys participate. You guys mean the world to us. As you know, we are the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers fan club room on Clubhouse, which happens to be the largest Los Angeles Lakers fan club room. Over 10,000 members now. So be sure to get on there. Thank you so much. Thank you to our guests, Marco Nunez and Maggie Awad. We definitely want to follow them if you need information. They are going to keep you healthy. And we will be back next week, you guys, and hopefully the Lakers will be doing a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be at the game tomorrow. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. All right, guys. Until then, thank you so much.
Peace.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Profanity Nation.
A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.